Today, Biden's disapproval rating soars to an all-time record high. The CDC changes their recommendation for booster shots yet again. I realize it's hard to keep up, so we will have the latest for you. Also, another hospital system warns of understaffing after firing their unvaccinated workers. I wonder how they got in that position. Well, we've got all that and more coming up, and it all starts right now. Hey, welcome to the news and why it matters. I am Sarah Gonzalez. It is hump day. Happy hump day. I've got a full table today, which I am very excited about. We are joined today by Jaco Booyens, host of the Jaco Booyens Show, also BlazeTV contributor. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Also, on her maiden voyage on the show, we have the lovely Marie Oakes, who is a writer at the Westphalian Times. Did I say that right?
Yes,
Westphalian Times. So thank you for being here as well. No pressure, just don't screw it up.
Thank you for having me here.
Also joined by Jason Buttrell, chief researcher of the Glenn Beck program, and man who reads all of the things that we don't want to read, so we pass it to him.
Yes.
I like that title better.
I sound so stupid, so you're going to have to put up with me. I'm so self-conscious about it. It sounds so ridiculous.
So it's just for anyone in the comments, look, because they said it to me on Monday when I sounded very bad, but like I wasn't sick, but I sounded sick, and they were like, why are you there? You should have stayed home. You sound bad. I'm like, because I'm not a wuss.
Because we were here through COVID
and I had a cold, and I don't anymore, but my throat's still messed up.
Every single day.
And I work for a living, so that's Jason.
But that's a weird thing. So like I did get tested because I was in another country.
Yeah.
But it was like that's the weird state that we're in right now. Even if you have the sniffles, the freaking sniffles. You're like, oh my gosh.
All other illnesses have disappeared, right?
Yeah.
I thought I was going to
common cold and seasonal allergies.
Don't exist.
I thought I was going to get kicked out of the grocery store the other day. Just I just had the tickle in my throat, and like you have to cough, and I just kept coughing, and I was like, someone's about to come up and tell me to leave because they're going to think that I like have COVID, and I don't. But yes, this is the state of our affairs right now. Speaking of which, let's get into Joe Biden's disapproval ratings. So his disapproval rating soared to a record high. This poll was taken in, it was still December, so December 2021, as voters showed widespread frustration with his handling of the economy. This is according to CNBC Change poll. Record 56% of respondents said they disapprove of the work Biden has done as president. And that's the worst reading that he's had so far. His current approval rating is 44%. This is, of course, another consistent decline from the previous readings in September and April, 46% and 51% respectively. And the economy remains a top priority for voters of all demographics. Shocking. I know, it's shocking that when you trash the economy so much that people are paying, 50% more for a tank of gas and groceries and meat and all of these other things, they don't tend to like it. And I think maybe the mean tweets sound really, really good right about now as people are doing things like buying food for their family and filling up their car so that they can go to work. And, I hate to say I told you so.
I wish on some of these polls that they would just lie and say that you do support him. Because at this point, it just seems like bitching. And I'm sorry, but you're not allowed to bitch about this. Like, what was it? Thomas Jefferson's quote was, the government that you elect is the government that you deserve.
Yeah.
This is absolutely what you deserve. And if you were stupid enough to vote for Joe Biden because he said he was going to get rid of a airborne virus, you're dumb, right? That you thought that their entire campaign was, it's Donald Trump's fault. You're stupid if you believe that. If you believe their stupid optics, remember when they had like little hula hoops and they would, have people all spaced out and stuff?
Sorry about that was the reason that they only had like 4 people at the Joe Biden campaign events.
Right.
Was the social distancing with the hula hoops.
I mean, come on. Campaign where they're honking their horns because they can't clap or whatever. But to your point, though, Mr. Popularity, the greatest president of all time, the guy who got a higher black vote than Barack Obama, has fallen to 44%. I think it should be like 24%. But the percentage points of people who did vote for him, I agree with you. You don't get to complain right now. You go pay, what did we hear the other day? $5 for regular gas in California. $7 a premium, eat it.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
If you're an independent that was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm just going to vote for him this time because
Donald Trump hurt my feelings.
He was a little brash.
He's really
whatever.
mean.
Did you not listen to what they were saying
Yeah.
the entire time? They were pretty much saying when Barack Obama said he was going to fundamentally transform the country, they're saying we're going to deliver on that.
But I also saw that there's people on the streets, even though the economy is doing so terribly, there were so many young people being like, it doesn't affect me, so I don't really care. And I think, like you said, they are just complaining at this point. They don't really care how it's affecting them until it really starts hurting them. A lot of these people don't drive, they're city goers, they're taking public transit until it starts hitting them, until their public transit, these costs rise. Then that's might be the time they actually start caring. But right now, not really. The main complaint I'm seeing from his voters is COVID. And in that article, they were even talking about how his rate is so bad for COVID response, and that's what he ran on for.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going to shut down the virus. He didn't just say it once. He said it
a virus.
many, many, many times. I'm going to shut down a virus, which, I'm going to let you get your point in, but which I hear that and I'm like, how could voters possibly be so stupid that they think that one man, they wanted to put it all at the feet of Donald Trump? And I'm like, one person cannot control the spread of a freaking respiratory virus. Like that's not how things work.
He could.
Right, and Biden said he could.
And now
people
he says he can't.
I know. And it's like, shame on them for even believing him, but also it's like, yeah, you guys are getting what you deserve,
I think that's Jason's point. You know, if you're dumb enough, and dumb is the word to determine. I mean, if you're at that low a level of an IQ to believe, preposterous statements like that, like I can shut down a virus, or I can single-handedly turn the economy around, or this time around we're going to, be for all Americans, where historically that party's never been, then you kind of, you gotta have to eat this cake. You helped create it. This is it. But for the rest of us, it's wake-up time. For the conservatives, we will get a window here. This is 2022.
Will we screw it up?
We will get a window.
And
don't screw it up.
But will they do anything different?
No, but that's what we're saying here. We're saying, are we going to screw it up again? We will get an opportunity with a 2-minute drill in the fourth quarter to go win the game. Mm-hmm. Will we have a play?
Yeah, that's a great point.
I'm really curious because they've made this bed. They really have to sleep in it now. You can't just all of a sudden go back.
Walk it back, yeah.
It's hard for them to walk. They were doing it a little bit, like when we saw Fauci. Remember we were saying for the longest time, like you keep concentrating and harping on cases. Like why are you concentrating on cases? Right. Just look at the hospitalizations and deaths. Can we do that? Now Fauci is saying, well, some of these kids are going to the hospital, but not with COVID. Not because of COVID. Yeah. They had COVID when they went in there.
Oh, really?
Oh, so you're doctoring the numbers there a little bit, huh?
So the numbers are not accurate. That's weird.
Right.
I feel like if only someone brought that up at the time.
But it's also sort of like how you're seeing all these Democratic governors, they're telling schools don't close the schools, and all the teacher unions want to close it. Chicago today is out of school, out of session, and the mayor doesn't want it. But she was also the one who was going on about, we need the vaccine passport because it's so dangerous. Well, then the teachers kind of have a point if you're saying what you're actually saying to be true. But we obviously know that's not the case.
Yeah, the unions are revealing themselves exactly, again, what we said. Yeah. They don't give a crap about the kids. They give a crap about the union as an organization, and the teachers give a crap about the teachers.
They don't care about their members. The unions don't care about their members. If a union cared about their members, their very job as a union is to protect what? Employment and income. A union wouldn't then walk with the president and shut down the economy. The demographic you're talking about earlier, maybe they don't take they take public transport, but another part is they get mailbox money. They've got mailbox money, and it doesn't affect me because mom or dad or big brother, which is Uncle Sam, is taking care of me. Yeah. It's going to hit him like a Mack truck in the face at some point here. And at the end of the day, I'm still saying this. Americans will, when the time is right, vote their wallet. Yeah. And that's what you're seeing right now. The wallet is starting to hurt.
And I am getting a little bit, I guess, hopeful as the more that they push the when we said they can't walk this back, it seems like they continue to have to double down. Mm-hmm. Like I remember when Italy was closing down, we were over here saying, we'd never do that. Then 15 days until the spread happened, we're like, oh crap. And then we kept saying it'll never happen here. It's kept on happening here. Mm-hmm. Today, Italy, do you see this? Today, Italy made it compulsory for 50 and over people to get vaxxed. Mm-hmm. Again, don't laugh that off and go, oh my gosh, it's the Italians, they have Mussolini. That'll happen here if they keep going in that direction.
This is that Casino Royale scene, right? Where we don't see the cards and they go all in, and now finally we're seeing the cards and they're sitting with a 2 and a 3, right? They got nothing, but they went all in. You can't walk that back as they're trying, but I think it's going to burn them bad. We just should be ready.
Yeah. Marie, I want to go back to something you said, which I thought was a great point. If Republicans do get in office, are they going to do anything differently? I think history would tell us, very recent history, we're talking 2016, would tell us no, right? Because what did they do while they were in office? They had a chance to do something on big tech. I'm not saying I know all of the answers, but they kept complaining about it, yet they didn't do anything about it. Of course, very famously or infamously, they kept saying that they were campaigning and winning, saying that they were going to repeal Obamacare. They never did that. I mean, there are so many things that they have said that they were going to do and didn't do it. Should voters expect anything different this time around?
I mean, it's hard to say because, the future is uncertain and things could change. Who knows? But it's interesting when we look at places that do have conservative leadership. Let's look at places in Canada, Ontario and Alberta. They both have conservative leadership, and pandemic-wise, Ontario just went back under lockdown. So in terms of pandemic, will they really change the tune? Because voters and a lot of the public want more restrictions, as scary as it might be for many people. There's a lot of people who are like, oh, Texas, no one can wear masks, no one should wear masks. Oh, people should. There is this mentality, and it is really strong.
The government should take care of you.
And also, we sort of live in a state now that it's a media-run state instead of like a state-run media, like say in Canada where the media is funded by the government. But even here, we have it where the media really does drive the agenda. So when the media wants these restrictions, a lot of times Republicans will cave. We saw it time and time with Trump. When the media would yell at him, berate him about issues, he would backtrack on policies or, start changing things. So who really knows?
On that point, I will say that I won't forgive the Trump administration they were the ones that started the lockdowns, right?
Yeah. Yes. It wasn't a federal mandate.
Sure, but
they recommended it. They recommended it.
And the first stimuluses started under that.
Yes.
And that crap 100%. Pisses me off to no end.
It was very popular. And there's a lot of leftists I'm seeing on Twitter who are giving credit to Republicans like Trump for doing the $2,000 check, saying, oh, now we have a Democrat in office and we have X amount of more cases per day, but we're not getting a stimulus check. So I am seeing leftists being like, we'll tip off our hat to Trump for doing that, which is
That's
kind of
not
an
what
oddity.
I want the credit for.
Yeah.
I don't want the credit for that, please.
So crazy. So during that time, they admitted to doing this. It was a forced recession. I don't think it's ever happened in history. It was a forced recession to make people stay in their homes.
Yep.
That's insane. Now think back, 2019? It was historic economic times here.
Yeah.
Every what do they call that? Transsectional, whatever, group that they try to put us in, where it's race, gender, whatever.
Intersectional,
thank you. We're all at historic highs.
Yeah. Yep.
They had nothing to complain about on that. It was outstanding. Then forced recession.
Jason, I don't think, and look, I'm an immigrant and I've been in this country for a long time, but I don't think historically we have ever had that, a forced recession.
No.
Ever. In this country. Maybe in Europe for sure, because it just goes back so far, and I can recall some situations in Europe, but never in the U.S.
And what does that benefit? I'm sorry, my tinfoil hat goes on. But instantly, we start getting used to UBI type, programs.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think it just ended, but like the child tax thing.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's putting people on the teat. It's just getting the dependent.
Exactly.
It's the dole. It's the British dole, and I still say, anybody show me where you really did that, where you get to take it back. You do not get to take it back.
Yeah.
And beyond that really helped corporations, because I like to bring it back to Canada because it's very near and dear to me. But in Canada, we were seeing all the premiers were in talks with the lobby groups that were all corporations. They weren't talking to small businesses and how these policies are going to affect them. They were doing the bidding of corporations, and corporations really were the winners of the pandemic and all the lockdowns. And now Canada, large sleuth of Canada, is now back under lockdowns. Who is that going to help? Corporations, Amazon,
That's the great
everything.
reset. That's the great reset.
That's the reset.
Public-private partnerships. The big corporations.
Larger monopoly.
What did they do during that time? The small businesses had to shut down. The big corporations, they didn't.
And they still are.
And they still are.
Yeah.
In Canada, it's so sad because all the bars, all the restaurants in Quebec and in Ontario, the gyms are closed. They closed houses of worship.
Yeah, it's insane.
You can't go worship whatever your God is.
Yeah.
That's against the Charter of Rights in Canada. Imagine that was to happen in the U.S., and I'm pretty sure
it did.
It did happen.
Yeah,
it
did.
What are you talking about? It did
Where
happen,
is people's up in arms?
We had Rodney
if
Howard
happened?
Brown in Texas, a South African pastor, was thrown in jail. You had a Canadian pastor thrown in jail when he landed back in Canada. It was in the U.S. No, they did shut churches down here, but we have the First Amendment. You don't. And
well, it's still, but they still have.
They
it's
do,
in
but
their
it's
law.
more egregious in the U.S.
I mean,
that
I
we
agree.
allowed.
Well, the
I agree that.
Constitution is a lot stronger in the U.S. than
Yeah, of
Canada
course.
because there is a clause in the Canadian Constitution that you can void it, but that wasn't implemented. It didn't happen, but the court system there is just so corrupt that when it was brought to court, the courts were like, no, the emergency makes sense. This is really dangerous. We have to do this. But I'm still questioning, why are Americans still okay with the things that are currently going on? On January 20th, I think we have a travel vaccine. All of the new green card people, they need to get the vaccine. They have to. In order to become a U.S. citizen, you now have to get the vaccine. I think that's wrong. Why are Americans totally just like, oh, whatever, it's not affecting us. It's going to affect our new citizens, but oh, well, sucks for them.
I'm just going to say you're going to fit in great here. All right, we've got more to come. First, we want to thank our sponsor, Built Bar. So if you love a good snack, maybe you have a sweet tooth and you like to snack throughout the day, but you don't want to expand your waistline while doing so, especially those of you who have made your New Year's resolution. What is it? I forget the percentage of people who make their New Year's resolution like losing
high.
weight. It's
high.
really freaking high.
Built
so
Bar.
I know there's a lot of you out there. That is your New Year's resolution. If you have not yet tried Built Bar, you have to, okay? They've got a ton of different flavors, and it is a protein bar. So you're eating something that's going to be high in protein, low in calories, high in fiber, low in sugar. It pairs well with keto diets, which I do. I love Built Bar. I eat them. Embarrassingly, I eat maybe several a day. I don't know. I don't want to talk about it, okay? I have an addiction. It's not a problem, though, because the good news is it tastes like a candy bar, so you're going to think that you're eating something that's bad for you, but you're not. You're not going to cheat on your diet. You're going to stay on track, all right? Now, you can go to built.com, use promo code NEWS15 to save 15% off of your order. Like I said, a ton of different flavors. You've got to go to the website and check them out. That is promo code NEWS15 for 15% off over at built, BUILT.com. The CDC is now recommending that people get a booster shot only 5 months after being vaccinated with the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine. They said today, the CDC is updating our recommendation for when many people can receive a booster shot, shortening the interval from 6 months to 5 months for people who received this particular vaccine. This means that people can, I love how they say this, they can now receive an mRNA booster shot 5 months after completing. Yes, they're like, congratulations, you guys. Now you can take your booster shot sooner because they work so well.
Thank you.
It just means the vaccines are working. Whenever you have to shorten the interval to get the booster, it only means that the vaccines are working. And I don't want to hear your hate mail, because if you don't understand sarcasm, I can't help you. I can't help you.
Sarah, I think it was July, you and me, and I said it on this show, remember, these corporate CEOs of Pfizer, Moderna, Merck, all these guys, they dance according to the quarterly reports. You watch. The booster is creeping closer and closer and closer to the quarterly reports. They will bring it down to 3 months.
100%.
They will bring it down to 3 months, and you'll get a booster every 3 months. And Pfizer, and again, we know this, number one stock held in Washington, D.C. is Pfizer stock. They will bring it as close as possible. This is 100% driven by the financial market.
Let me also add into the conversation here. They also announced that they are recommending that moderately or severely immunocompromised 5 to 11-year-olds receive an additional primary dose of the vaccine 28 days after their second
Who are not at
shot.
risk.
Come try.
Who are not at risk.
Come try, please.
I know, when I read that, I was like, that's insane. That's
Yeah.
even shorter than, like, say, older people in their 80s.
28 days. 28 freaking days. By the way, I haven't seen, like, we haven't done the studies on this for kids, for these booster shots that they're talking about. Like, we don't have long-term data on this to know how it's going to affect them.
Anybody.
Adults.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, for the kids, you would think they're not at risk for this. Why are you going to keep giving them these boosters, it's almost like there's a conflict of interest here. Meanwhile, I saw a story yesterday that Pfizer, the government was doubling their order of, I believe it was Pfizer's antiviral pill for COVID-19. Yep. And it's just like, I mean, of course they're going to recommend this, because why wouldn't they? The government keeps buying up all of their, that's like an awesome way to make money. Like, yeah, whatever we make, the government's going to buy for this. Of course, we're going to make the vaccine. The vaccine doesn't work. Yeah, we're going to give you an antiviral pill on top of that. They're going to buy that too. That's awesome.
Now they care about treatments.
Yes,
got it. Now
I know.
They care about treatments.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, I wonder, like, if the government hadn't bought all these vaccines and now, like you said, these pills, would as many people have taken it if they had to go out of their pockets, spend maybe like the $25? I feel like it'd been a little less likely because it's kind of like in Canada. The government also buys the drugs. Drugs will be cheaper, but it's like a similar model is happening where it's going to create more people to actually be like, okay, it's free. Why not just give it a go?
Do they do that? Hold on. Yeah. Do they do that in Canada normally, though?
Wholesale, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But you
because we don't. This is so new for us. Like,
exactly.
we're just like, what? At what point does the government say, okay, we took care of the beginning of this. Now, like, we need to back off and let them, like, maybe the health insurance carriers decide that they're going to cover it, like, whatever the case may be. But like, the government in America continuing to be involved in purchasing all of these drugs is so freaking bizarre.
And the U.S. government is paying so much more per dose, per pill than other countries. Like Canada is getting a better deal. All over Europe, they're getting a way better deal than the U.S. The U.S. is just spending out the wall.
You're starting to sound like Trump. We need a better deal. But
let me just. I mistakenly said the U.S. I'm sorry. I mean the taxpayers. Yeah. That's what I mean.
That's what I wanted to say to you, Marie.
Yes.
Look, I lived in Canada. Look at your tax rate. Nothing is free.
Yeah.
Nothing is free. I could give you a bottle of water
now. Pharma is not included in health insurance in Canada. You have to pay for out of pocket.
The taxpayer pays. You're always here. When they hand out pills, they can hand out vaccines. You say, well, if they had to pay, if they physically had to shell out $25, yes, less would take it, but they're still paying. And the illusion, the smoke screen is you're not paying. That's a lie.
Yeah.
You are paying. The taxpayer in this country is paying for dang everything, and they just print money like water. So we are paying, and that's the big fleecing is it's free. Right? And therefore, take it. Okay, I'll take it. It's free.
Yeah, those white knight big pharmaceutical companies just giving these freely.
And the fleecing goes even further than that. I think it's a lot more nefarious than that because, as we had talked about on the show, and Glenn did a special on it. I mean, I just saw over the Christmas holidays that Moderna dropped their final lawsuit or their contention with the government on how much the government owns of the patent. They dropped it. Right, so they were fighting back and forth with each other. Now they dropped it. Well, I've looked at the financial information. I mean, we were talking about this the other day. Straight up, I've seen it's. I think it's still on the the website that we have. But there's no kidding. There's the bank account at the Fed that Moderna had to make a lump sum to the federal government when they signed that agreement, and it goes on to talk about. Every year, I guess depending on
PPP, there's your public-private partnership.
That's exactly what it is.
There we go.
And I was going to go further
on
into
behalf
that,
of the American people.
But every year, that's an annual payment based off of how much they make. Yep. So we're paying for it, like you pointed out, through our tax dollars. But the government is getting this. It's weird. It's in a roundabout way. They're getting a lot of the percentage of that back into their own coffers.
Of course.
Which I don't know what they're doing with. But to your point, that's a very good point about the public-private partnership.
Yeah.
Because what they're basically building is through that partnership is their own version of like an NHS, right?
100%.
So eventually they've got all these pharmaceutical companies that were independent
at the highest degree.
Yeah, well, they were independent, working on their own. Now they're getting more and more intertwined with the government. They're in business deals with them to where the government owns the money back and forth. It's only a matter of time before, we already spend more money than the entire world on our jacked up, health system before it's just completely
They're just
federalized.
smarter than Africa. In Africa, the presidents are so corrupt, they just go nationalize the mines, right? This is a form of nationalization, aka Canada, right? But it on paper looks separate, but it's really not.
Dude,
it's a backroom deal, it's not.
It's 21st century fascism.
Exactly.
It's fascism without the 1930s nationalism.
Yep.
That's what it's turning into.
100%.
The government is saying, hey, we'll allow you to have your company, right, but under our rules.
That's right.
And we're going to make money off of it.
And you see, they're totally pushing like the Johnson & Johnson vaccine because there is no money to be made with that. It doesn't have a patent. Like anywhere you go, you can barely find that if you are seeking it out.
The blood clots may be a problem too.
But for males, it's a lot more safe.
The other vaccines also had the blood clots, and that's a good point because the
but
government
Johnson
didn't have
Johnson
it.
had that
really
marketing, like they really were targeting them whenever they talked about the blood clots.
Yeah, well,
all the news stories were all Johnson and Johnson.
Of course, because
kill
the government.
Johnson and Johnson because we can't make money.
Yeah, eliminate the competition there.
Well, the government did not collaborate with Johnson and Johnson to make that vaccine. They did with the mRNA ones.
I'm sure what her point was.
And it's a lot less money.
Oh yeah, you can't just keep boosting the hell out of that thing.
Yeah. And you can't find it anywhere. Like my friends, they'll look for it because they're males. They don't want the heightened risk of the other vaccines. And Johnson & Johnson is a little safer for younger males. Can't find it.
Search. You know what's also safe? You know what's also safe?
CEO in here.
Your natural immune system. That is. When you're a young man, that's all.
Yeah, but if you need to travel for work, at the end of the day, you got to do it sometimes. If you really want to go somewhere.
You don't gotta.
I don't want to go somewhere that badly.
But if you want
I'm so glad you're not.
Yeah.
I don't want to go somewhere that badly.
No.
All right, we've got more to come. First, we want to thank our sponsor, Raycon. So, all right, here is the thing. I know, like, we talked about New Year's resolutions earlier. Maybe some of you didn't make a resolution, and I get it, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't still find a way to shake things up. Maybe it's like switching up your workout routine or going someplace new, but whatever way you want to challenge yourself this new year, there is no better way to do it than with a pair of Raycon wireless earbuds in your ears. I own them. I bought them for my mother. These are really the best way to bring audio with you because no matter how you like to, maybe you're listening to a podcast, like maybe you're listening to your favorite news podcast, maybe you're listening to music, they're not going to fall out of your ears even if you're like running, doing cardio, doing whatever in your workout. They stay in your ears. They don't have those stupid stems that come down and you're like, why do I need the stems? They're just weighing down my ears. It just makes these fall out all the time. They don't have those. They fit very comfortably in your ears. They have these gel tips for the perfect in-ear fit. You can exchange them depending on how big your ear is. They also offer 8 hours of playtime, a 32-hour battery life. They are priced just right. You're going to get that quality audio at half the price of other premium audio brands. Right now, you can get 15% off of their Raycon order at buyraycon.com/Y. That is BUY. Buyraycon.com/Y. That is 15% off. Buyraycon.com/Y.
Crazy.
Shockingly, the New York Times made this report, actually published it, which again, I find very shocking. They said that certain types of prenatal tests used to identify rare genetic disorders are inaccurate up to 85% of the time. The tests apparently utilize a relatively new technology. It uses a small sample of maternal blood to screen for chromosomal abnormalities in the fetus. And they've got the test for Down syndrome, but they've got them for a plethora of other abnormalities and rarer genetic disorders that result from gene microdeletions. But the Times looked at 5 of these very popular microdeletion tests, and there were a bunch of them. As one of them associated with heart defects, inaccurate 81% of the time when the result is positive. There were 4 other ones that had drastically inflated positive rates. One was 80% inaccurate, another was 84, 86, 93% chance that a positive result was incorrect. And remember, these are test results that people are getting. And oftentimes, the woman, even with the doctor who's saying, your baby will not survive this. Mm-hmm. If you end up having this baby,
life-changing decisions.
Mm-hmm, your baby will not survive this. The right thing to do is to go ahead and terminate the pregnancy. And women are caught in this situation where they have this horrible decision to make, and they're making this decision based on a test that oftentimes can be 93% inaccurate when it says that it's positive. It's mind-blowing to me that they're even using these.
Sarah, if you said something is 93% accurate, you'll have people say, yeah, but 7% it could be wrong. It's inverted.
Right.
I'll tell you a real-life story real quick. Girl named Katie, personal friend, 30 weeks pregnant. Do the test. They say, no chance. No chance. Your baby's going to be a vegetable, will not live, will not feed itself, will never be anything. Prayer line starts, our prayer circles, we go to faith. Katie goes, I'm going to trust God no matter what it is. We're going to care for this child. That child is not just healthy. The child is near perfect.
I can't even tell you how many stories I've heard of that.
Nothing wrong.
Same thing.
To the moment of birth, we're all still praying, and a baby comes out, nothing wrong. If for a moment, Katie did not have the support system, or the family, or the friends that said, we're with you, we're going to stand through you, that is a forced abortion on the hands of a doctor where a doctor recommended to abort the pregnancy. Okay? This happens thousands of times a day.
And let me just add to the conversation really quickly, because I think this is an important point as well. And again, shocking coming from this particular publication, but they reviewed 17 patient and doctor brochures from 8 of the testing companies. These are including LabCorp, Quest, and a bunch of smaller other competitors. So very
reputable.
Thank you. And it says 10 of the brochures never even mentioned that a false positive can happen. Only one mentioned how often each test gets positive results wrong, and the FDA considered regulating these tests, but they backed away.
But I see the issue with this is the idea that people really don't want to accept that there are uncertainties in life. They want to know, even if it is a false positive and a really high false positive, this can bring us back to the pandemic, taking these tests that may oftentimes have false positives or false negatives, where people need to sometimes accept that there are risks to life. There are uncertainties. Just don't take, these tests sometimes. And if you do get a result, kind of just weigh your conscience. Don't always just right away, oh, this is gonna ruin my life. It's gonna be horrible. You have to just accept that in life there are uncertainties. Not everything's gonna go as planned. And I think in society we've moved in such a way where with technology, with AI, people wanna know things right away. They wanna know the answer. They refuse to have any uncertainties in their life, and this story really illustrates something we're seeing in all dynamics of our lives.
Yeah, they not only do they want to know the answer, they want, just to kind of bring us back full circle, they want the medical community to eliminate any risk of illness, disorder, anything. You just need to be removed, live in a bubble, be removed from any risk of any sort of illness or anything being wrong with you. Jason.
Yeah, I mean, it's heartbreaking just to think about how many people took these tests and chose to kill their child.
And for something like Down syndrome.
Like
right.
Because
that's insane.
I know people with Down syndrome. I worked with people with special needs, and doesn't make them less of a person. It doesn't make them less worthy of life.
Beautiful people.
But it also doesn't always hinder their ability to live life normally. So many people have jobs. So many people live a very fulfilling life doing different aspects of part of our economy or just part of our lives in general. And there's such a, we don't value people with disabilities the way we should in a lot of societies. And we're definitely seeing in the EU, this is where a lot of these tests are done and abortions are done, where you are seeing really, really reduced rates of things like Down syndrome, but it's at what cost? Because like you said, there's a lot of false positivity. So how many people are dying who maybe shouldn't be?
The same people who would call us ableists, right? Like you're an ableist, but we want to eliminate Down syndrome people from even living.
Exactly.
It's very wild.
I'm assuming, and I shouldn't, but I'm assuming you're a Gen Zer, all right? So, but if you are,
she's like, I'm not going to confirm it tonight.
If you are, you're a late millennial Gen Zer. If you are, your position is really unique for that population, and I appreciate it. I really do, because I really believe, to support your point, we're in a society and a culture now that does not want adversity.
Right.
Any adversity.
Yeah.
You cannot grow muscle without tearing muscle. You cannot grow in life without adversity. You go back as a society. There's Elon Musk 2 days ago saying, if we don't start having more children, society is going to crumble. Well, having more children is more adversity, is more challenge. Yes, we need more challenge. We need more adversity in life. We need to build some resilience. We don't need a quick fix vaccine.
But you brought up an insanely good point, and you added onto it. And I almost wish the entire show could be about this.
Yes,
I remember do you remember there was an awful Clint Eastwood movie about those kids on the train, the 1513 to Paris or whatever?
Yeah.
You should watch that trailer. I've watched it about 1,000 times. But there's this motivational speaker, maybe he's a preacher, I'm not sure, but he's giving this talk over, it's the voiceover over the trailer, exactly what you just said, and what you just said. But basically it was the majority of us go through life trying to avoid pain, trying to avoid, any kind of hardship. And that is what makes us who we are. Like when you go through something, you have pain, you have hardship, you build yourself up, and you're a completely different person, better person after going through it. But now the mentality definitely is that. It's like, I want to try to take the route that is the most least resistant, easiest way possible, stay in the basement, get my gender studies degree, the easiest thing possible, and then live off of mom and dad again for the rest of my life, or whatever. But I mean, it's turning us into, am I allowed to say bitches on the show one more time? Yeah. It's turning us into a nation of bitches, is what it really is. But it's I'm so getting in trouble for that.
No, but it's like there's so many girls my age who are like, I don't want to have kids, it's such a burden, I want to have fun, and it's like, to have kids is part of life. To have kids is going to be bothersome.
The most amazing thing you will ever do.
Absolutely.
But it's also going to be the hardest thing.
Yes, it makes you want to pull your hair out, but it is the most rewarding experience you will ever have. They just don't understand that. All right, we've got more to come, but first we want to thank new sponsor of the show. I'm really excited about this one, Policy Genius. So those of you, most of you out there have someone relying on your financial support. Maybe it's a child, maybe it's an aging parent, maybe it's a business partner, whoever it is, you are going to need life insurance. I know it's a very, it's a weird thing to talk about because people don't want to think about what happens when we're all mere mortals. I hate to break it to you guys, but we're all going to die someday. Someday we're all going to die, and you need that peace of mind to know that you have life insurance, and if something happens to you, your loved ones are going to have a financial cushion to be able to pay for things like rent, mortgage payments, loans, educational costs, all of the everyday expenses that they will, be in trouble if you don't have this life insurance. By the way, even if you're covered by your job, that's usually not enough. Most people need up to 10 times more to properly provide for their families. Now, Policy Genius, I used 2 years ago, maybe, way before I even talked to them about being a sponsor on the show. I use Policy Genius. I'm telling you, it is very easy. You need to go there. Okay, you can go to policygenius.com, answer a couple questions about yourself, and it's very, very easy. In just minutes, you can work out how much life insurance coverage you need. Then you can compare personalized quotes to find your best price. So they're not the ones who are actually providing the life insurance. They're like the middleman who's going to show you all of the different options and let you pick what fits for you. They've got a bunch of licensed experts that will also help you understand the options and apply for the right policy. They work for you, not the insurance companies, which is huge. They're also not going to add extra fees or sell your information. It really is you are benefiting wholly from this, and it is completely free to you. You could save 50% or more by comparing quotes with Policy Genius. You got to go there. Like I said, it's very easy. I use it. Make sure that you do not leave your loved ones hanging. Go to policygenius.com to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. That is policygenius.com. Resident YouTube blowhard, this is what the article says. Ethan Klein I know, I didn't know who he was either, but he's he has a blue check mark on Twitter. So I don't know, whatever. If you want to follow him, whatever. He took aim at Joe Rogan, criticizing him for his health and pandemic-related advice. It did not go well for Ethan Klein. He tried very hard to own Joe Rogan. It went about as well as you would think. So Ethan Klein, so Marie was just telling me, I was not familiar with him. He is not a fit person, I would say. And he eats Domino's in all of his videos.
And his wife, in almost every single video he does, she's like, you need to lose weight, you need to lose weight. I've been trying to get him on a new diet. He doesn't want to eat, and then he just orders Domino's. It's like, this guy is not a beacon of health, and he's always slamming Joe Rogan. I think at the end of the day, he really just wants Joe Rogan to go on his podcast.
Yeah. He wants the publicity. Well, he tweeted out, Joe Rogan, who lives on elk meat, egg yolk, and human growth hormone with lungs full of tar, thinks he's healthier than everyone. This MFer is such a bitch that when he got COVID, he threw the kitchen sink at it. If you're so healthy, just write it out like you say a man should. Dude has caused so much vaccine hesitancy and misinformation, and he doesn't even have the balls to stand by the stuff he preaches. Now he's on a show talking about how fat people should just die of COVID.
And this is the same guy who also told people, just listen to what the CDC says. Why do you have to think? Why do you have to think for yourself? They're doing it for you. He literally said that. So, I understand why he's making these comments that Joe Rogan is this, that, and the other, because he's He said it himself. He's not going to think for himself.
I also think it's very much mischaracterizing what Joe Rogan didn't say if you're fat you should die of COVID, did he? He was just pointing out that there's going to be a problem there if you have comorbidities, including doing this to you're treating your own body poorly.
Yeah. Look, number one, this guy obviously knows nothing about Rogan because Rogan's fan base will decimate him because this is UFC fans, the most loyal.
You don't think this guy is man? Look at this manly-looking guy posing next to Joe Rogan.
So here's the deal. Number one, Rogan
pose.
is not, because I really like Rogan. In we have some friends. Rogan is not on HGH. Number one, he's not on human growth hormone. Number two, he threw the kitchen sink at it all with a lot of natural remedies. So much so that a friend of his, called Aaron Rodgers, went on the same protocol, which now the NFL, wink, wink, is recommending Joe Rogan's protocol to all current players who have been vaccinated and are getting COVID. So, Klein, shut your pie hole, literally. Stop talking and stop eating.
Yeah, really. Yeah, shut your pie hole for multiple reasons, most of which your health.
I think it's crazy that there's a lot of these people on the left now that they see Rogan finally as a threat, right? I think at first they kind of thought he was on their side. Yeah. But then when
he acts like he's like a middle ground, but really secretly he's with us.
Yeah, the crazy thing is I think he was like a Bernie Sanders supporter and all this stuff. And the more, that's what this podcast is about, is just talking to people and learning.
But he's learned and he's changed because he has informative civil discourse conversation.
Right.
In the process, he's like, wait a minute.
That's a big no-no on the left, right? Yeah. You're not supposed to think for yourself. No. You're not supposed to educate yourself. You're just supposed to sit there and then accept what they tell you to do. But he's obviously a very big threat. I don't know why he decided, hey, he's got the #1 podcast in the nation. He's basically untouchable. I'll just be able to do this and everything will be okay. But people like Rogan, people like Jordan Peterson, they're all going to go after them big time. They're public enemies #1 for the left, and they're not going to let them go by.
I also loved that in this guy's weird rant, he talked about how he took ivermectin, which doesn't even do anything for COVID. It's like,
really?
Oh,
really?
Weird.
Call me when you have COVID and we give you some Ivor and you smile 3 days later. Then we talk.
Well, I mean, it's also like, look, as much as we want to say that he went to Tractor Supply and picked it up, actual doctors are prescribing ivermectin for COVID.
Around the world.
Yes,
around the world.
As I'm often told, I'm not a doctor, so I'll listen to my doctor who prescribes ivermectin for COVID, Ethan Klein. I don't believe is he a doctor, Marie?
No.
I don't believe he's a doctor. If he was, he's fat, so I wouldn't listen to him anyway.
He's a doctor of pizza.
He's got his doctorate in Domino's. All right, we got to take a break. We'll be back.
Yeah, literally.
All right, don't forget, it is a new year, and I'm just saying, if your New Year's resolution was not that you need to go over to wherever you get your audio podcasts while you're listening to your Raycons and subscribe, rate, and review The News and Why It Matters, I don't know what the hell you're doing with your life. Because anyone who has not yet reviewed the show, which, by the way, I do see how many of you are watching this program, and you have not all gone and subscribed, rated, and reviewed The News and Why It Matters. And one of these days, I'm going to find out who you are. I'll just leave it at that. You got to go over there, though. It'll take you 2 seconds. And, conservatives always need a little additional help because the algorithms, they try to make it impossible for people to find our shows. So that will help with the algorithm. It will help more people be able to find the show so that they, too, can hear the news and why it matters. You also may see your review read live on air, like the one today from Star Spangled Banner. Cool, and there's an exclamation point. So they're very excited. It's Star Spangled Banner. Yeah, 5 stars. It says, awesome podcast. Love your podcast. You tell it like it is. Keep up the great show. Thank you so much, Star Spangled Banner. We always appreciate it. So if you say something nice about us, you may see it read live on air. Thank you to Yaku. Make sure that you are following him on social media. He's doing tremendous work. I mean, look, he's a jack of all trades here, but tremendous work in sex trafficking, fighting sex trafficking, and things of that nature. You got to follow him. Also, Marie, we've got about 10 seconds. I want you to tell everyone where they can find you.
You can find me at the Marie Oaks on every platform: TikTok, Telegram, Twitter, Facebook, Getter, everywhere. I'm